Hey guys, we're back. We're here with another episode of Jibber 13, where I just talk about state of the game, opinions, repeat myself, sometimes complain, and then I repeat myself again. That's why it's called Jibber. This is not nothing really prepared, just talking from my experience, sharing the knowledge of what we experienced. This time we're gonna be talking about the state of the Greenskins. We did one with the Greenskins in the past before the rework. That one was called the worst faction in Mortal Empire's Greenskins. They are no longer the worst. Thank God for that. We just finished a long Grimgor's Art Boys campaign, and I had a lot of fun with this. We got most of them up in 176 turns, and we didn't even go really that crazy on expansion past a certain point. So what is this here? We're gonna be talking about pretty much nearly everything. The new format, pretty much about everything. I might forget something, might talk about something too much. But this is strictly legendary difficulty campaign experience in the Mortal Empires. My opinions from my experiences and thoughts, wishes. We're gonna be talking about pretty much everything. So you can expect a long video here. If you're really, don't care about the long story, everything in detail, the Greenskins have been improved. They are fixed. They are good. They are fun. Yep. Is there room for improvements? Are some things forgotten? And are there missed opportunities? Hell yeah. But the Greenskins have been fixed, and they are now good. We're gonna be going more into detail now. So, the faction of Greenskins. The race attributes say now, Va, call upon additional orc and goblins to field against enemy forces. So, this is a rework mechanic. And rework for most of it was good. There are definitely some issues with it, missed opportunities, but we'll talk about this when we actually load the campaign. So basically this is a mechanic of the Greenskins to build up a reputation by fighting, winning battles, to double their numbers. Not really their quality, but numbers. So it is strong, if not somewhat inconvenient, and added some other strengths with it as well. We'll talk more about, like I said, when the campaign is loaded. They can use the underway, so basically just one from one side to another side, pop up. Very useful, one of the best stunts in the game. It says here, extensive unit roster with aggressive infantry, fast cavalry, and monsters. So this is basically the race attributes. Not really need to mention things here. This is like such a broad term. They can write here, there, green, mean. Their factions are now pretty much, they have 5 factions. So Greenskins have 5 factions before the Empire actually got one of 4. So 5 lords, 5 factions. Before the Empire, before the dwarves. The leaders of the factions are Grimgor Ironhide with Grimgor's Art Boys, Scarsome with Crooked Moon, Bursak the Great Green Prophet with the Bloody Hands, Grom the Paunch with Broken Axe Tribe, and Azag the Slaughter with Bone Rattlers. In the current set of game, we only played Grimgor Ironhide, and this is the current set of the game is called pretty much got released a while ago. Just 1 second. The nuts and bolts update. That's pretty much the current state of the game. We did check Grom and Azak. This is before they buffed the fixed technology tree regarding orcs. We did a full extensive campaign with Grimgor. We have not played Crooked Moon yet, or the Bloody Hands in the current set of the game, but we can still talk about them. We'll start with the Grimgor here. Grimgor starts in a kinda pretty much Badlands spot of the game, where everything around him is a potential mess. You get dwarves in the north, you get greenskins all around him. Some of them can be friendly, most of them are pretty much gonna be there for smacking. Then you have Skaven to the south, and Skaven to the east, who are the big players. And you get in conflict in the beginning with some greenskins and some dwarves. It does start with the best greenskin city, and this is one of the biggest strengths about this faction, Gringos Arbois, the capital of the Dead Pass, which is Black Crag. So this is the greatest city, and that's the main strength of this faction. You know, I wish I could say the main strength of this faction was Grimgor, but no. The main strength of this faction is the Black Crag, starting with that city in the Dead Pass, which also has, you know, problems attached to it, but depending how smooth you know, experience you expect to have with various factions, if you're expecting just build up and you know, make this faction, that faction, that faction, this might not be for you. The Greenskins don't put any values in the settlements. Their values come in their armies. If you lose settlements, no big deal, you're just gonna retake them. The Greenskins, they pretty much loot, sack and occupy all the time, and you might even say the core of their economy comes from battles. So switching settlements around, losing settlements can be all part of their experience and their strategy, and don't think, you know, it's a bad thing. As long as you're holding the provincial capitals, it's fine. You are in the middle of some powerful factions like the Karzakarak, Clan Morse, Clan Nation, and the early game will consist of pretty much rushing Karakazul, Barakwar, Karzakarak, and then paying attention what the Skaven are doing, the Clan Morse and Clan Nation is in the current state, and you should not be very passive about this. If they're fighting and they're ignoring you, might be a good time to attack them. So you don't get into a long war with the Skaven. Long war with the Skaven can be exhausting, can be tedious, especially if you're not well at positioning armies on the campaign map or planning well on the campaign map. The Skaven are probably the trickiest faction to deal with on the campaign map, just simply because order of acting, they are among the first, and their plans and actions are usually always about their enemy or the player, and they don't really get interrupted while they're doing their thing, because they act among the first. How the turns work: you act first as the player, then comes the elves, the high elves, arch elves, and then you have the Lism and the Skaven. And in this part of the world, the Skaven are ahead because, you know, like I said, their actions will not be interrupted that much because they're among the first to act. And Skaven attacking first, going first, is incredibly powerful, especially for the player. And the AI has huge advantages with it. That's why you see Skaven getting ahead lately more and more. Not just the huge boost they had, but also, you know, that order of actions. This faction leader, Grimgor, you could say this is the, you know, the most fun part of this faction. The strongest part of this faction is, of course, we mentioned Dead Pass, Black Crag. Gringor is the most fun faction of most fun part of this faction. You know, it's like Kazrak, like Tyrion, like Kolek, Krogar, numerous other lords. You have a fighter, melee fighter, even if the melee might seem underwhelming. you still get a powerful fighter which you can keep building to the extremes, where you know, you can have some nice fun scenarios where he goes solo whole garrison, or he goes ahead of the army and just smacks stuff, or kills an enemy lord in 4 hits. So this is probably the most fun part of the Greenskins Art Boys, making Grimgor the best. Grimgor has massive melee performance, is one of the hardest hitting melee experts in the game, but still you need to get him gear, get him skills and traits as well. He does have been improved with changes to his performance, especially some mass. I've seen him still get knocked around by large stuff, but Grimgor is now faster and has more mass, so he's not interrupted as much, but still it's a normal thing to see him flying over the battlefield when he gets hit by something big, like even a steam tank without a charge just bounces him, poink, he just flies 30 feet into the air. So, you know, this is his main weakness. You know, he might be one of the largest infantry entities in the game, but he's still infantry, so he gets tossed around. Most of those tosses are not even hits for damage, just, you know, knockback that doesn't do anything. So it's can be a little bit annoying, especially when you're trying fighting multiple large units with him. Grimgor has a faction effect around the Black Orc bosses, Black Orc big bosses, or Bobs for short. We're gonna call them Bobs. One of the best additions to the Greenskins. The initial version was, you know, made me, you know, I pretty much got drunk and wasted that day. But the current version is pretty much should be like the gold standard, how they pretty much make the future heroes in the game, and how they should update all the old heroes. Great addition to the game. It's kind of like a mounted Thane, which is can be even stronger defensively when you get items. Dwarves do have easy access to items in the Greenskins. And it can also deal damage, and on top of that it can buff the replenishment of the orcs in the army, and it can lower the vigor loss in the army on the orcs as well, which is huge, because all the one you can notice the black orcs having more vigor, which means they're gonna be more effective longer battle. With 2 of them in the armies, the black orcs almost gonna be really resistant to exhaustion. And usually how the black orcs take damage, they take damage from artillery range while they're getting the melee. The main weakness of the black orcs, they're bulky and they're slow, but when they get into melee they slaughter things. So the black orcs have to run to engage the enemy, so they lose vigor there, and then they melee is very exhausting, they lose also a lot of vigor there. But with the Bobs in the army, even one if you have 2, this is kind of diminished, and the black orcs are stronger than ever, thanks to also not just the changes to the technology and VA, but also to the addition of the Bob. Bob is a hero you want to consider in every orc army, so with especially the black orcs, even 2 of them. Their capacity is easily unlocked with the Greenskin recruitment building, which is their barracks, which you're going to be building pretty much in every capital tier 4 and 5. This also lowers the global recruitment on the black orcs. Grimgor can recruit Bobs in any province. So this is a, you know, convenient thing. You can start immediately with a black orc big boss. He gets his unique skill. You can get 3 black orc big bosses without even getting a single Greenskin recruitment building. So pretty nice and convenient ability. It's actually a lot of fun starting early with a black orc big boss, especially if you get a good trait on him. Discipline, weapon master, frenzy, tough, stuff like that. His VA has a chance to contain black orcs all armies. That's just, you know, mumbo jumbo. That is so rare, I don't even know why they wasted time to put this line of text here. Campaign movement range plus 10% for all characters. Movement is always nice. Better to have more. Better to have you know, wasted movement every turn. But more is always better. Sometimes, you know, having enough movement to do what you want in a turn creates a snowball effect, initiative, advantage, because the enemies can recover, get a turn of recovery, and then one turn slower here and one turn slower there, and all of a sudden you lost like 5 turns of momentum because they recovered, and makes smoother campaigns. Smoother campaigns, especially if it's planned well. So more movement is always better, even if it might be wasted most of the time. So the last faction effect is cheaper Black Orcs and the Biggins. This is kind of huge, because both the Black Orcs and the Biggins are some of the units you're going to be using throughout the campaign. The Black Orcs alone, you could have all your armies with the Black Orcs, but it's no longer needed just to go Black Orcs anymore. Even a couple of Black Orcs in the army is massive. They don't all have to be Black Orcs. There are even Goblin armies which work, the Goblin Tide armies. And there are other units as well you could use instead of Black Orcs, like Monster Lions. Cheaper Biggins is very useful because they're one of your best emergency units. You can recruit them pretty fast, and with Greenskins always having massive treasury, but because they use their massive treasury to because they can get really high income like per turn. So they use a massive treasury, and then they use it to recruit various stuff, extra army or the emergency garrisons. Because the massive treasury is pretty much part of their income, because you never know when you're gonna need lots of money. They do use lots of money to build stuff all the time. They're one of the factions that just spend buildings without any thought, because they get so much money from the bells. And you're always gonna have this money available to you, because their massive treasury is part of their income. So you might have like hundreds of thousands in a few turns, but your income is very low, like 0, 2,000, 3,000, even negative, which is normal. And then next 10 turns you don't have anything, so you are pretty much using what you have in your treasury to make sure that everything goes smooth. And because of this, the emergency garrisons are a normal thing, huge global recruitment. And you can get also fast armies with a bunch of Biggins or Savage Pigs in a single turn, and they can be used to snowball faster, just crush anything in the area. The Biggins with all the buffs are pretty good, but there is no point using Biggins when you can use the Black Orcs, right? You have the big fort, the Black Orc landmark, and Black Orcs are just better than Biggins. They're still used for the Biggins. They're part of the garrisons, and they could be used like that to just snowball faster the armies. The Lord effects on Grimgor is he has a flavor with the Black Orcs, so his Black Orcs will get additional leadership, armor, and on his unique skills they'll also get additional armor piercing damage, which might seem overkill, but it helps a lot against quality units and large units. And there's also charge bonus, which a lot of people forget about. The Black Orcs is a shock infantry with 29 charge. With Grimgor's unique skill they go to over 40 charge. And they can get like 80 weapon strength. 40 charge, 80 weapon strength armor piercing unit, and if you get a VA at the same time, the charge alone is sometimes enough to kill half the unit, just contact, especially with Grimgor. Grimgor also has massive income from the post-battle loot. This is one of the most main ways for Greenskins to pile up huge amounts of money and fuel their economy. So Greenskins have a high multiplier, how much money they get when they win a battle. If you kill a lord, you get always lots of money. Even from turn 1, you're gonna be getting lots and lots of money when you kill enemy lords. You should always kill enemy lords in battle, if convenient, so you just snowball like crazy with the money. I'm not sure why this ability here you're next, because a bunch of lords have abilities and they don't say it here, but it's basically Hex which cripples Lord or Hero, so Grimgor can beat him up. Grimgor Wa is he basically gets more attack, more damage, so his Va will hit the hardest. It's just, if everything is in control, you turn on that Va, it is such a massive damage in next 2 or 3 attacks that it's enough to win most battles. So it's like total overkill perversion in melee combat, which not even the Lizardman can even match the Greenskin damage here. Lizardman might have the really tough units overall, more tougher units than the Greenskins. They do have healing, but when it comes to the melee damage outputs, the Greenskins have probably taken the first spot, simply because the Vi exists and they have so much buffs for damage. We're gonna get into the campaign, just to talk a few things. It starts with the Orkbor boys, with Black Orcs and the Doomdiver Catapults. These are actually very strong starting units. So I'm just gonna load in the campaign to say a few more words here. Just gonna go through the starts of the factions. Yoo-hoo!
Black.
So we already said several times, Gingmers are boys, faction of Greenskins. The best thing about them is starting with Blackrug, which is the best city of the Greenskins. It is a 10-slot city in a rich province and in the middle of a big mess. Depending how well you do in campaigns, and of course always influenced by the RNG, you might love this position or you might hate it. But there's definitely a spicy position. I wouldn't say it's a hard start. I'll probably put it there normal with the chances of bad RNG. But if you know what you're doing, I think you should be fine. If you've seen my Green Arbor's campaign, the sheet was going so smooth that it's almost like standard luck, right? But I don't expect to be every time like this. But first time playing them, it was super easy, snowballing against dwarves, all the Greenskins cave, and it was just a lot of fun just from the start without any resistance. This faction starts at the war with Red Fangs and the Karakazul. So you immediately just basically take Iron Rock and Karak Drone, so you take the whole province here, that pass. So this is the easiest part of the start. What is a little bit tricky is the Karakazul having 3 settlements. Another campaign they had 3 small armies. We did intercept one, so it was a little bit easier. It's very important to get that early ahead. So you're gonna have to fight dwarves, which will be aiming your weakest settlement. They're really no match for the Gringos army, especially if you can avoid being outnumbered. So you have Karakazul pretty much as your first obstacle. Going for their province seems to be the best. Red Fangs, Karakazul, and then you rush Barakwar and Karzakarak. This is pretty much your initial early game. If you can do this within the first 50 to 70 turns, perfect. And then you just have to look towards Clan Morse and Clan Ashen. They're preventing you from becoming a superpower. From that point on, there is no limits. You can do whatever you want. Ideally, you would want to take Karzakarak, Blood River Valley, and destroy Clan Morse and/or Clan Ashen in the first 100 turns. But it can be influenced by the RNG, especially if they steamroll their opponents. So you would like to fight them and challenge them, as they're already still have opposition in their area. Clan Morse with maybe Korlibaras, Karak Zorn, Last Defenders, and Clan Ashen with whoever's in the area, Hagreef, Knights of Kalador. So as they're still dealing with their early stuff, it's very important to go to war with them before they get ahead and you become their primary focus. Clan Morse is probably the most dangerous faction to deal with, especially if they beeline for Galbaraz and the 8 picks before you stop them. We confederated Blightwater and they were busy fighting Karak Zone, so it was like insane snowball potential, and we kept it and made campaign incredibly smooth. You don't want quick control Galbaraz and you don't want quick control Karak Zone. The moment they get those 2 cities, they become a big power and nigh unstoppable. Only pretty much player can stop them or a massive alliance. Galbaraz is makes them give them so much money, and Karakzorn as well. If Quick is struggling against Karakzorn and you have Blight Water and nobody else is pressuring you, you go there and you murder him. You take this area, and get rid of him. This is pretty much one out of the two of the main obstacles becoming a superpower: Clan Morse and Clan Ashen. So keep an eye on Galbaraz, keep an eye on the Blight Water, and see if they have Karakzorn. Especially once you meet them, you can click on them and you can see if there is a red down there or not. Those cities make him really strong. Clan Morse is one of the strongest factions in the game as the AI. Because what are we talking about? Who acts in the turn and when? When you select an faction, you can go on a camera settings, and you see the red fangs here. You can sort of various options here, but you can see who acts before them and who acts after them. This is an important part of the strategy and when it's happen and the AI interactions between each other on the campaign map. If you go to the very left, to the far left, you can see who goes first. There's a lot of factions. Just take me a second. Give me a second here. So you can see Eaten is the first one to act. Gives them some advantage as the AI. AI on AI, usually the factions who act very early, with the exception of Lizardmen, because Lizardmen kind of suck as the AI faction in the campaign map. They do need a little bit buffs, but more about that some more time. So you can see the elves acting first, then the Lizardmen, then the Dark Elves, and then you have Clan Morse. So this means Clan Morse will act faster than pretty much all the factions in this area, and they will have advantage. Skaven on the attack is incredibly powerful, and if they get ambush battles, they just snowball. There's no stopping them. Only a player interaction can stop them, or a massive alliance which is very late in the game. So Clan Morse can get out of control. Clan Ashen, they can confederate each other. Pay attention to what is going on and crush them as they're still fighting their early obstacles. Depending how smooth campaign it goes, you know, this could be easy or they could actually be a challenge. But they're preventing you from becoming a superpower, so you know, it's all right. So this is about Black Crag. Black Crag has the landmark, the big fort for the Black Orcs. You can get veteran Black Orcs pretty fast, and they're really powerful. Really nothing really in the early game can kill them. They get so much toughness with rank 7 that it's an overkill to even put more than 3 or 4 of this in the army. So it makes it alright to use stuff like Biggins and the Orc Boys even later, or mix them up. You don't really have to go all Black Orcs, but you know, OCD sake, you know, why not? The other one is Dork's Rock. It's another landmark. Nothing really special, just makes sure that things go smoother. And you can see the big garrison, big money. Best thing about this faction, that pass. This faction is fun because of Grimgor, you know, and like I said, the fighters, building up fighters is a lot of fun, I think, for a lot of people. I think that is it for the Grimgor Our Boys. We could talk a little bit more about Grimgor. It's pretty much the only thing I want to say about Grimgor is they need to really change his unique skills. Nothing really has to be reworked here. This one kind of doesn't make no sense because he's pretty much going to be using Black Orcs. So this skill could be reworked. They could also provide this bonus to Black Orcs, because you're just gonna go for Black Orcs because the Black Orc Wrecking Ball. Thing that need to change here is from the front requiring 4 skills. A lot of the new lords require only 2 in the previous line, and this one is forgotten. They forgot to change it. So when you take the best of the best, the game requires you not to pick any of this, but you have to pick all of them to unlock for the front, which is not very nice. It's like you have to take everything to get this. Where are the options? And it does, you have to waste 2 skill points. The Black Orc Wrecking Ball it's gonna be, you know, pretty much his Black Orc is gonna dominate. He has Fear and Terror, which is, you know, okay. It really only works when you're winning. More health, sure. He already has massive health, while this one is a complete waste. The fact you have to pick all 4 to unlock this one should never be a thing. It's a strategy, not just click, 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 click. Let us choose which 2 to unlock this. Don't force us to use all 4 of them. It's not alright. They updated the new lords, even some older lords, they only have to pick 2 skills to unlock this. This is pretty much my only complaint about Grimgor skill tree. Some things could be changed, you know, but really this is my only complaint. Grimgor does also have the Immortals, which I didn't mention, which your early Black Orcs pretty much gonna be winning battles for you. Use that well, and you get massive advantage against the Orcs and the Dwarves. But you know, you can watch that in the Grimgor's campaign. And the other factions of the Greenskin, I'm gonna go like this through all of them. We have Skarsnik. I spent probably 60 days of my life playing Crooked Moon. In Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 combined. I have in board games closing to 8,000 hours. This faction is one of those challenge factions, so I really can't complain much, you know, about them. They just exist strictly for the challenge. They are one of the first DLCs in the Warhammer 1, and some of the stuff has not really been put, you know, kept up with, you know, with Warhammer 2. Like the minor settlements have kind of fallen behind. His buff for the Karakate Peaks, I think it's the weakest, unless they changed it. A reminder, I have not played Skarsnik in the current set of the game. And you basically just started a minor settlement with a really bad climbing around. So you're kind of forced to go through the mountains, through Belagar, into the Badlands. So this is a challenge, because you're gonna be playing also with questionable composition while being seriously outnumbered. This initial challenge says hard, but it should really say very hard. Race attribute says Karakate Peaks, they occupy the fabled settlement to construct a unique powerful building inside. No such thing as powerful. By the time you get this, it's average at best. Everything else is fine. Like I said, unless they change this, this is pretty underwhelming. We had the weakest bonus for capturing the Karakate Peaks. The initial challenge is hard. It should actually say very hard. This is one of the hardest campaigns in the game. It's one of those which you're probably gonna be restarting the most, because you made a mistake, or you lost, or you were too slow. So there are obstacles in the way. With the Greenskin rework, they're definitely gonna be better than before, but one of the things we're gonna talk about, they forgot about Night Goblin's armor technology. So they're still gonna take massive damage. Can only recruit Orc units from Karakate Peaks, that's red. Hero action costs minus 3% and receive plus 100% experience. This is one of their main faction strengths. Dirt cheap hero actions, and they receive 100% more experience. With the introduction of the Bob, this could be massive. Otherwise, you mainly use the Goblin Big Bosses to assassinate and block armies. Early on, having a high rank Big Boss which pays next to nothing for the actions, blocking an Elite Dwarf army, annoying them for multiple turns. It could be enough to create an advantage. Is upkeep and recruitment cost minus 40% for Goblin and Night Goblin units, so the Goblins are cheaper. Vaz has a chance to contain Doom Divers, all armies. Not very relevant. Unique building chain available at Caracade Peaks. So, they do have one very good faction effect, which is this one. The other ones are, you know, here and there. The Skarsnik, as the Lord, gets Lightning Strike from rank 1 as his trade effect. And it gives plus 14 charge bonus for the Night Goblin Squeak Hopper units, which are actually pretty deadly cavalry unit if not really squishy, if mishandled. They also do quite seem to die in auto-resolve as well. Skarsnik Va, I'm not even sure what it is, we're gonna have to check it out. He starts with the units of the Fanatics, which is a powerful unit when it works. Arachnoric Spider, which is one of the best Greenskin units. And the Night Goblin Squeak Hoppers, which when used can be deadly effective. Let's get into the his campaign and say a few words. We're going through talking about a little bit about Greenskin factions before we talk about Greenskins as a whole.
From your redoubt in Karagat.
So, one of the worst things about this faction is its starting location. You can immediately notice how settlements around you have unpleasant climate. I think Greenskins having temperate climate as unpleasant is nonsense. The climate system still needs work. They should at least have a technology to make desert, jungle, and temperate suitable. At least a technology, if not this suitable in the first place. But we're going to talk more about this when we get into the big picture of things. So immediately you have a minor settlement that starts at tier 3, because this is now tier 2. It's a minor settlement. Minor settlements having only 4 slots even in late 2020. I hope the minor settlements get worked. So it's not really a Crooked Moon fault that the minor settlements got forgotten. Minor settlements with 4 slots don't really fit the game anymore. And that's a proof about for this in a lot of places. Primarily the coastal settlements, or settlements like this that have a resource and a landmark. You don't have enough slots for a variety of recruitment, especially if it starts on tier 1. So you're in a really tricky spot here, and you're also pressured for time. You are having units which require massive experience, skills, and technologies to be powerful. And even then, it's all going to depend how you use them. If you don't use them right, it's all pointless. All pointless. These units require tactics and a lot of sneaky plays on battles and sieges until you get ahead. The Spider will carry your initial battles. The Va now is a big deal for the battles, especially against dwarves. Dwarves no longer bully you in the beginning. You don't need to rush artillery. You don't need to rush trolls. The Va is a big deal. So the Skarsnik Va says plus 50% missile damage, armor-piercing missile damage, and 25% base weapon damage and armor-piercing weapon damage. This is strange because the Va doesn't get filled by the range, and he buffs range. Might be an oversight. But it's really trashy, I have to say. Really trashy. Because the Skarsnik is a shock army. If you have artillery, you're really behind. You could always use Doom Divers, but wow. If I definitely definitely, because the the range units don't really do much for the VAR. They don't really get anything, but this one buffs them, because the range units can fill the VAR meter in the battles. So basically, the point of this campaign is, preferably take Southern Grey Mountains. You level up Skarsnik, get his battle skills going, get technologies going, get the buffs running, so you can win battles consistently, effectively. Buff the rest of the army with various sources, and have an easier time dealing with obstacles ahead. So you gotta deal with Karak Nor, and you have to crush Belegar very early. Belegar is pretty much your main obstacle this campaign. Belegar is main obstacle when you're playing Crooked Moon. The factions like Clan Angrund and Mutinous Gits get massive buffs, while they can outnumber you like 3 times in the beginning. So crushing Belegar early, he's gonna go after you. You really have to destroy him. You don't care about killing these elements, you care about destroying Clan Angrund. That's your main objective. Destroy Clan Angrund as fast as possible.
Goblins angry!
And slowly get into the Badlands. Probably the easiest thing to do in this campaign is Confederate Grimgor and play Crooked Moon with Grimgor's Arboys, trigger the Greenskins comfort earlier. So crushing Belegar and Confederate Grimgor, his game is live. The big fort will allow you to recruit Black Orcs. The big fort, the Dead Pass, the Black Crag is the best thing about the Greenskins. Crush Belegar and Confederate Grimgor, his game is live. Karakit picks doesn't matter that much. You don't have to rush it, you don't have to prioritize it, you have to establish a foothold. But destroying Belegar while you get there is a priority. With the changes, you can definitely get 2 armies. Fill up the Monga to max, and then call a Va on Karakaiser, which will double your military. It will make movement awkward. I did it in the past without even any Vas or any buffs to the orcs, so it's now and then should be much easier than before.
Supreme ruler of 8 peaks.
What do we have here? Skarsnik as a lord, he's kind of like a tank. He's kind of like a tank. His main issue is speed. He has a very high health, and he has an anti-large weapon with armor piercing. So build him tanky, high defense, resistances, and go after nasty units. You do get poison immediately, so it's pretty good. His banner is still here, so you can actually level 1 unit goblins easier. You no longer get poison for the whole army, so this have changed, but you get so many stuff now from technologies and other factors that it doesn't matter anymore. So his army is pretty much gonna be some kind of mix of flavor, but mainly around shock and knight and the goblin army. You could go with artillery, or you could go with hoppers. When you add orc shaman in the army, it is quite devastating to rush the enemy. They could have high defenses, especially if you're fighting stuff like Empire, but dwarves should be no problem. Looks like you got new skills here. Fermented fungi. Smart hiding is pretty good. Under bosses. Oh, this is actually pretty good stuff. You gotta get shaman also early, rank 12. Magic item no chance for 30%. Damn, you can get items quite a bit. Armor piercing damage plus 6 during ambushes, Lord's army. But you lose complete initiative. You could always position yourself, but you lose some movement as well. There could be a situation where this is useful. So basically it's a challenge faction. One of the things I want to see this faction get is a stocking stance. As absolute disgrace and oversight and beyond absurd brain damage that the Night Goblin faction does not have stock stance. While you have a fucking Alit Anar of the fucking overpowered high elves with the most absurd faction race in the game get the stocking stance. While the humble Night Goblins don't get the stocking stance. It is unreal they haven't added stocking stance to this faction yet. Unreal. Unacceptable. What the fuck are they doing? Where is the stock stance? Really? Can we please finally get a stock stance for Crooked Moon? It's been only 4 years. Thank you.
I am Tyrion, heir of an
The third faction of the Greenskins are the Bloody Hands, which have one of their most powerful lords, also a very fun lord, and the one who can have the most powerful Greenskin army. The leader of the Savage Orcs, Wurzak, the Great Green Prophet, and he's a mean dancer, as you can see here. As the faction as the Bloody Hands, you get a really fun, powerful lord with different bonuses, but I have to still say that the Savage Orcs outside the Wurzak army still feel missing a lot of flavor, missing units, missing a proper lord, and most of all, the garrisons makes me cry, makes me want to hurt myself when I play long campaigns with him. So, race attribute says Savage Ways can recruit the powerful Battleland Savage Orcs units anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, if only they had actually powerful bonuses from these unique buildings. It says Savage Orc focused unit roster with highly aggressive infantry, fast cavalry, and monsters. The Bloody Hands initial challenge is normal. This faction was also released among the first, with one of the first DLCs in the Warhammer 1. It was a free faction. Really half-filled, half-assed, and if the Greens didn't get their work, I would probably still be complaining about how unpolished they are. Minimal effort, really. Minimal effort for the longest time. Uninhabitable climate frozen, suitable climate jungle and desert, so you can go south, you can go into Lastria. Va has a chance to gain Savage Orcs all armies. Enemy hero action success chance minus 50%. As huge to avoid harassment. Here comes the fun one. Charge bonus plus 25 for Savage Orc units. So you can play the stompiest armies with this faction. Lord effect for the Wurzak is physical resistance plus 50% for Savage Orc units. So everybody in the army. Everybody in the army, the Savage Orcs, get 50% cheaper upkeep. Cheaper recruitment, and his Va has additional physical resistance as long as the other stuff, along with other stuff. Start with the unit of the Savage Orcs, which doesn't look anything impressive at a first glance. No armor, a very low defense, not very even impressive attack. But they do have high health. They have Frenzy, and they have a natural 25 physical resistance, which is increased to 40% with Wurzak. Even more through Wurzak unique skill, and even more to the biggest Va banner. So they pretty much could be an ethereal army that actually doesn't have sucky stats once they get the high physical resist, which only really gets countered by lots of magic, and those armies are rare from the AI, and they're easy to avoid, and the few far in between magic units the enemy has can be easily countered by Wurzak's magic before they ever become a threat to any of your savage units. So you get some of the toughest, deadliest army in the game when it comes to melee fighting, They just basically select, right-click the enemy, click, 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 couple of spells, a va, everybody dead. Moving on. Next army. He starts also with one unit of archers and a giant. His starting units are kinda crap, but you get what you get. Wurzak skill tree is goddamn impressive. Goddamn impressive. Whoever done Wurzak skill tree should probably do skill trees from now on. You know, in my opinion, you know, some things could be better, but from usually from the devs that all suck at metagaming, whoever done the Wurzak skill tree should get a raise.
Have led you to Ekron.
Should get a raise. Whichever janitor did it should get a raise. So you start in the Western Badlands, basically close to Grimgor. Grimgor is basically gonna be one of your friends. You can ally with him until you later confederate him, take his master lands. You should definitely use Grimgor to help against other factions in the area. Your primary goal is you can just do carnage in the Badlands along the border princes into Karazakarak. And then, you know, look area around and work together with Grimgor until the main threats are sorted and confederate. You become a superpower, easy game, easy life. And don't even get me started with victory conditions. We're not even going to talk about victory conditions in these Jibber episodes. So, what's the main issue of this faction? Are the garrisons. The garrisons make me cry. Even with all the buffs to the Greenskins, the Savage Orc garrisons are really bad. They're the worst garrisons in the game. The worst. Really bad stuff. They can't really do anything against some factions like the dwarves, for example. Even with all the buffs, you will struggle even against the spells of the stuff. Basically, you get an army of Savage Orc Biggins, and you get Savage Orc Biggins, and that's it, your endgame army. You can add Stone Trolls, and you can add one Rogue Idol for the memes, and that's it. You don't even need anything other than the Savage Orc Borboy Biggins and the Savage Orc Biggins in the army, that's it. You unlock this on tier 3, and just right click, delete. Delete, 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 get capitals. It's that simple. If you're gonna be able to hold these cities, well, you're gonna need numbers, you're gonna need armies. Well, luckily, as the Greens get lots of money from fighting. When I talk about the garrisons, guys, I talk about general, pretty much minor settlements. The minor settlements are so bad, the AI most of the time don't even gonna wait to attack it. They're gonna attack immediately and take it. So you can't even recruit an army in a nearby settlement to try to defend it. Since the change to the Greenskin, the Biggins global recruitment and recruitment times, the Wurzak's garrisons and settlement defense should be fine, but still overall the weakest garrisons in the game. Because, you know, you can just get a lord and then just recruit a bunch of Biggins and, you know, control, defend the area, get rid of the invaders. Speaking of Wurzak, he starts with a Knight Goblin Shaman. Wurzak himself is a Legion Lord, which is a Shaman, and has powerful effects. He has even additional physical resistance in a radius. He gives miscast chains to the enemy armies and has an ability which causes direct damage, and the opponent won't be able to move either. His items are pretty good, but what's the most important item? Bonus Staff. Every time he casts a spell, everybody on the battlefield gets, all allies on the battlefield gets buffed and attack and charge bonus, which makes his army one of the stompiest in the game. So you can see already a different skill tree, and this is a good example how a strong skill tree should look. It does not have the dodgy geezer up there for some reason. And I would like to see Power of the War, like any lore in the game, passive being here first as 1 skill point, and the skill which they upgrade with 2 points. On Legend lore, 2 points for the simple spell. It's kind of nonsense. So by moving it here and leaving it as an option should be fine. So every passive effect for every lore should be here for 1 point, and the starting spell to upgrade should be here. His skill tree has massive buffs for the Savage Orcs, or already the ones he has. This got together with the boys. This got together with Odd Lads, makes it some of the most buffed orcs in the game, on top of massive resistances. Fury the Prophet removes enemy magic resistance and gives your whole army magic attacks, which when it works is very strong. This thing that is applied locally sometimes doesn't work. Wild Feet gives speed, melee defense and perfect vigor to Wurzak. Colossal Warpaint, now this is the fun one. 20% physical resistance for trolls, giants, Arcanok spiders and rogue idols units in the army. Rogue idols are already savage units, so they get massive physical resistance to the point where, you know, they cannot really be killed without massive numbers on the enemy side and counters. Whole army gets additional 5% resistance on top of that, which is just wow. Just wow. His last skill is a Titanic Beat, which lowers the Winds of Magic cost on Foot of Gork by 9, and Winds of Magic cost -6 for Foot of Gork upgrade by -6. On top of Foot of Gork upgrade, which is another 3 and 4. It's just Yep, Pog, and Fap of string. One thing I don't like in his skill tree is the Arc Conduit requiring 8 skill points. And I don't like the fact that some of these skills have 2 skill points. So if these skill points, you can see here, Titanic Beat requires only 2 skill points, unlike Grimgor, all 4. Unlike Grimgor, all 4 here are good. Well, Grimgor has 1 garbage one and 1 bad one. So on a Lord of Wurzak you have 4 here, and you need 2 to unlock the Titanic Beat. Like it should be, you know, options, not everything to unlock the next. And all of them are good. You kind of want to take all of them, and you acquire just 2. You see what I'm saying here? They force you with Grimgor, and they force you shit down your throat. Or here, you kind of want to take all 4, and you need only 2. Another thing I want to see, like I said, Power of the War being moved to the left. Like every passive for every magic lore should be first here. And every one of the skill points should cost 1 skill point. 1 for Gaze of Mork, 1 for Brain Bursta, 1 for Fist of Gork, 1 for Edbot, 1 for Foot of Gork, all of them 1. He's a legendary Orc Shaman. Or they could just leave the Arcane Conduit that you need to take only 6. But it's better that every one costs 1. These are all good spells except Gizmork. So you have to put 1 point in Gizmork to unlock Power of the Vow. But if they make it passive first, which you already have Gizmork, it would make more sense, and it wouldn't be forced to waste skill points on crap. So you get a powerful army with high resistances that have multiple extra buffs for orcs. They even have additional technology now. So you basically get a very stompy army which just destroys everything, and it really cannot die. Usually the composition I would go with on Wurzak, and I would really recommend you a Savage Orc Biggins, Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins, and this is already enough, but you could also add to the mix Stone Trolls and 1 Rogue Idol for the memes. Rogue Idol is fun in sieges, but it can't really keep up with the army otherwise. So this is pretty much it. What I would like to see happen with this faction is their unique landmark buildings. This is a landmark building, they're unique buildings. All the Savage Orc camps which for this faction are not unique, but at least the ones that should exist, you know, unique, like in the area of Ekrund or the Southern Badlands, should provide some kind of faction-wide bonuses to all the Savage Orc units, which with armies will make them stronger for Wurzak, who already has a ridiculous army that he doesn't need it, but would make you consider Savage Orcs in other armies, not just Wurzak. It would make the garrisons stronger, and there should be a Lord, a Savage Orc Warboss. There should be a Savage Orc Warboss Lord with a similar team of Wurzak, except more for fighting and not for wizard stuff. I wish also there was another unit or two here. I'm sure they can find some. So this is pretty much it here. The most fun thing about this faction is Wurzak. Everything else, not so much. I mean, the Greenskins are fun now, but it's all about Wurzak in this faction. Getting a ridiculous flavor overpowered army over the Savage Orcs. We still have two Greenskin factions. The next one is Grom the Paunch. It's the one that's been added with the last DLC, Warden and the Paunch. This is the most powerful Greenskin faction. It's the one that has the only Greenskin faction that has the unique mechanic on top of everything else. Has access to the Grom's Cauldron. Initial challenge is hard. They do start in Massive Orc and Bretonia. Grom's Cauldron is the reason why this is the most powerful Greenskin faction. Suitable climate, temperate island, so you can rush Ultron very early. Rushing high hills with the Greenskins, you crazy? Well, you can watch my Broken Axe campaign. It's one of the fastest campaigns ever done. Diplomatic relations when 80 with the high elves. Why has a chance to contain pump wagons? Jesus, please no. And global recruitment duration -1 turn for goblin units, so you can spend goblins. His effect is leadership when fighting against the elves in the Lord's army. Physical consistency 10% for goblin units in the Lord's army, and makes chariots and pump wagon cheaper. He also has regeneration, and his vow provides a small heal. You know, this is just a thing. You know, they should really say which goblins, right? Because you know, some technologists gonna go after all goblins, and then some, you know, oh no, he changed my mind, so we're not gonna put 9 goblins. It's gonna be just goblins. But the previous goblins counts for all goblins, but this one is only counts for regular goblins and not the 9 goblins. Starts with the units of the Stony Pub Wagons. The Pub Wagons are decent units. Their battle skill is absolute trash, and they only got a half battle skill. We're gonna talk about that. Starts units with River Trolls and Stone Trolls. Has pretty potent starting units. Unique start as well, because it starts in Massive Oracle, so you have Bretonians around. We're talking more about stuff around this specific faction before we go into Greenskins as a whole.
Grom.
So Grom starts in Massive Oracle, which is a mountain in Bretonia. Pretty sweet spot. Is a 10-slot province that has a landmark for trolls. The strongest thing about this faction is the cooking Grom's Cauldron, which you can craft various stuff. Some really powerful stuff like regeneration for all goblins and night goblins, or increased number of projectiles for the range. You know, there's literally a lot of fun stuff here. This makes them the most powerful Greenskin faction, because you can still confederate the rest and keep the Grom's Cauldron. Goblin has a flavor with goblins, and he really makes goblins overpowered. This is like the wet dream of every goblin fetishist. Absolute madness. His goblins get to a point where only magic explosions will mess them up. And they'll get really messed up because they're really weak to this. Anything else is pretty much gonna get stomped. Even the regular goblins will be dealing damage, they'll be tanking. And then you have a couple of other units like the stone trolls or even, you know, you can just rely on goblin archers to deal damage. You don't even need stone trolls really. But you get massive resilience and massive stat boasts where they have so much armor. So if you're about that goblin fetish, this is the lord for you. Is a fun lord, is a powerful lord with the most powerful Greenskin faction and effects. His start position is not the strongest. He's not lord-wise the strongest lord. Probably Burzak is the strongest lord by far, but overall is definitely the most powerful faction. This, because you know, Grom's Cauldron. There's different campaigns different campaign in the other factions. You basically have to just go on ult one. So you basically just stomp this area here, get Grom leveled up, get army sorted with a Hag, with a Shaman, Goblin some experience, battle skills, and then you just invade Ulton with 1 or 2 armies and just slowly just take it all over. No problem. Don't overestimate, underestimate some of the enemy potential magic attacks and magic explosions. Because sometimes you might like wonder what happened to the goblin unit. They would full in the last second. But if your battle awareness is up to notch and you see what is going on, the goblins will not be able to get matched by most of the early game stuff. He uses the early game to take over Ultron. You can probably have all of Ultron probably in 70 turns, if not sooner. You don't really want to stay here. You don't really want to go into Badlands. Ultron is your continent. From Ultron, you go forward if you wanna, you know, play a long campaign. So it's all about Ultron. If you wanna play like a standard Badlands campaign, I guess you can just ignore Ultron from the start and go into Dead Pass and find a way to Confederate Grimgor. And then just play a standard Greens campaign and then take Ultron later. Nothing really much need to be said about this faction. Can't really complain about anything. They're just very overpowered. They make some of the Greenskins look bad. They have a unique mechanic, and the other factions don't have a unique mechanic, and that just makes them ahead. Not much to be said here. His skill tree upgrade goblins, leadership aura, growth replenishment, boss for him. The pump wagon chariot stuff is the flavor you ignore with him. It's pretty bad because the battle skills are this is the worst thing about the Greenskins probably are the snails. They get a half a battle skill, just armor, no attack. So you basically get all the boss for the goblins and have fun with goblins. They're strong. The Scryer of the Greenskins, yeah, pretty much. The last faction here is also one of the new ones, but with a lord from before. Azrak used to be part of the Greenskins. He used to be with Grimgor in the Badlands. Now he starts in the northern Wool Edge Mountains, in the Red Eye Mountain, and they added a different region to it below. The challenge is normal. They didn't add any unique ability whatsoever to this faction. Just basically just separate him from. This is basically just a Grimgor that starts up north. Suitable climate temperate. So here you go. You can pretty much expand into the Empire. So instead of fighting Karzakarak, fighting the Skaven or anybody around the Badlands, you can just go left. Bring down the Slayer King together with work together with the vampires and just take down all of the Empire. You can probably best opening just rush Aldorf after you get some stuff going on him. Initially we played him before they fixed the orc buffs in the technology tree, so you know, it was not really like you know, weak faction or anything. It was just really disappointing that the early orcs were underperformed, didn't get proper buffs. But now, no doubt, is much more fun when even your starting units are can get much better. Where the orc boys and the biggins, which Azak buffs, are good from the start. Diplomatic relations with vampires and Arkan. So basically, you can work together with vampires, bring down Karakadin, bring down the Empire, and this is pretty much your campaign. The VA has the chance to contain wyverns, Bitterbeck thrown up. Research rate plus 20%. The Greenskin research rate is already obscene, so that's like overkill. He has more income from second settlements. The Greenskin gets some of the highest income from battles, so Azak gets even more. His faction gets more from sacking. You should always sack and occupy if you have the moment. There's a chance the settlement still stays tier 5 after boat. His lord effect is a little bit underwhelming. Massive leadership order size with extra leadership, and his VA controls causes fear and terror. Fear and terror, unless you're winning, is absolute shit, and the leadership bonuses are not very relevant, especially you know, if your army is finely tuned. His starting units is Yak, Rock Labbers, and a unit of Trolls. Let's get into it. Azak as a lord is unique among the Greenskins because he's a flying wizard. So there are definitely some advantages with that. He's more useful on the battlefield than even Grom, Grimgor or Skarsling by far. But he has that lore, one of the worst lores in the game. So you will utilize Spirit Leech, Soul Blight, and you could make your play about the Purple Son of Xerius for you know, random massive damages every now and then. And he's not a pure wizard, he's actually a fighter as well. So he's flying, casting spells, and fighting something that cannot defend itself. He can get quite tanky even for a shit mount like a Wyvern. And he does get regeneration. He gets some of the bounce spells of the Lord of the Vampires. So you get quite a bit starting trait compared to the pretty much all other Greenskins. You might even say, you know, the Grimgor one is a little bit overkill, but Black Orcs are all about overkill. Imbued by the Madness makes all Orc and Big Infantry and Cavalry units 25% cheaper and gives them Frenzy. This does not count Black Orcs. The Orc Boys and Biggins are good, and you don't really need Black Orcs for Azak, although they're preferable. So early on, you get economic advantage, and you get the strongest Orc Boys and the Biggins in the faction, outside the Wurzak's Savage ones. Their checking orders gives them additional 8 defense, 12% speed, also buffs missile strength on the Arab boys. Having a couple of Arab boys in the beginning is nice, like 2. Insane Visions gives hero capacity for the Shamans, hero recruit rank for Shamans, all provinces. This is a pretty good skill. It used to be better when the Shamans were harder to unlock, but extra ranks for the Shamans is always nice. Not orky enough, it's trash nonsense. Most of the time you even forget this exists, and you're gonna be wondering where all my skill points are gone, considering a massive skill point tree. While Bandom gives him 8 attack and 20 charge. Questionable for 1 skill point for a unique skill. Should be stronger, should be more on this skill. And the Darkest Nimbus gives him a regeneration and a Wind of Death. Not an overcasted one, so it's not going to do high damage, but it can still do pretty good damage. Pretty good damage. Better than most of the Deathlord he gets. The biggest problem is these 4 skills, they all have to be unlocked to unlock the Darkest Nimbus. That is sad. That is sad that you have to waste your precious skill points on Azak, on stuff like Not Orc Enough or Wild Abandon. Even while the Venom 8 attack is like average, this should be better. This should be better for sure. They should probably add more damage to this one, so at least he does massive damage if he doesn't have the massive toughness from the start. His items are pretty good. He's unique as he has the Crown of Sorcery. And gets some bounce spells. The Lore of Death Magic, which got butchered by the multiplayer. It used to be strong. Azak used to be much more powerful. So you get a Orc Fighter, which can do quite a bit of damage. Gets tanky eventually, and he can cast spells. The best thing about Azak is his voice acting. It just really hard to top it. Only really Necrotech and Cetra maybe top Azak's voice acting for me personally. But the best thing about the Azak is his voice acting for sure. His speeches for his quest bells. It's like there are no fucking words. No words. No words when he does his speeches for the quest bells. If you have never done it before, you're missing out. This lord suffers from not having enough skill points. That's his primary issue, and the game is wasting you, is pushing you to take some shit skills to unlock regeneration. So it's a problem. I feel like if they increase the rank of the lords again with the Warhammer 3, Azak will get much more powerful. And if they ever fix the Death Magic, if they fix Death Magic to be strong again, it could probably be as powerful as Wurzak, and hence he's flying more powerful than Wurzak. If they ever fix Death Magic again. Especially if they get the high rank, so you can actually get his skills. He's really fast, gets pretty good melee damage later, and some solid toughness, but his lore is crap. His lore is crap, and the problem is his main trade is trash. His unique skill Get Honor, it gives me brain damage on top of that. This should be reworked. This should probably do something more or something better. And the skill points, it just does not have enough skill points. I guess you could ignore Lightning Strike and get more of his unique skills, but Lightning Strike makes you level faster, makes easier game, and makes complicated situations uncomplicated. I am a big fan of Azak because of his voice acting, but he just makes me really sad. He just makes me really sad that he didn't get even any unique mechanics with his crown. Imagine how cool it would be if the Azak could raise the dead, or get some more stuff around his crown. Bound spells to Lord of Vampires, which are not even upgraded, is really sad. His location is pretty decent. He doesn't face many challenges. Pretty much the main challenge is Ostermark and Ostland ganging up as you take down Ostermark. And after that, all of the Empire is open for taking. You can rush Aldorf and do whatever you want. Massive treasuries, massive armies, and nobody really can stop you. Look at that, he started with the Orc Shaman. Okay, let's go now deeper into more about the Greenskins here. We're gonna be talking now general stuff. Let's load the Grim Boys campaign we played. This was a long campaign victory here. We'll start with the biggest changes. With technology tree first. Greenskins' old technology tree was so bad, they just control all, selected everything and just delete, send it to the recycle bin. Even the good stuff that was there It was just set in the recycle bin and deleted, and they started all over. It was the worst technology in the game, when it taken you over 100 turns to even unlock the simplest +10 armor for your infantry units. This new technology tree is incredible. It's very strong, but there are still some missed opportunities and some things they forgot. But overall, I'm very happy about this this new technology tree. Yet start with a VA, which gives you reputation +1 per turn, which builds up your campaign VA, which is basically your empire management, smoother empire management, your army saying more leadership, cheaper recruitment, everything going smoother. So you don't have to have a rebellion simulator non-stop, even on legendary. Some rebellions are still preferable, especially early in the game. Those are going to be even more enjoyable now because they're going to be much rarer. The best thing about this technology tree is how fast it gets unlocked. There's a lot of technologies here which just require scrap, which is the new greenskin mechanic. Greenskins are not about pilfering used weapons and other junk from the battlefield and do so indiscriminately. Any scrap you gain in the aftermath of your warmongering can be put towards improving the scribe's orc abilities such as unit equipment, upgrades, and technologies. So you get a resource here which you can use to click on a unit, and then you pick usually one of the two upgrades. There are some unique ones, but more about this later. And there's a lot of technologies here which just take one turn and require scrap upgrades. Some of them require a little bit of money, and just click them and you get them. So you get pretty much a really fast technology tree. You got go bigger here, you got the growth, you have cheap recruitment. It's feel like something is missing in this technology tree. This like can be all here. Only one line of text and 10% cheap recruitment. What the hell? So let's get to the good stuff. This is, you know, the basic stuff. Heavy metal, +10 armor for the orc infantry, and +5% weapon strength for all orc infantry. So this is basically gonna be probably your first technology to unlock, or very early if you're playing with orcs. If you're playing with Azak, if you're playing with Grimgor, I think this even pretty sure gives the armor to the savage orcs.
Start the war. Fighting soon.
Yeah, even the savage orcs get 10 armor. So this is not all right. And even the savage orcs get 10 armor on the take, but not the night goblins, which is one of the things they forgot. So it's one of your early stuff. You do get scrap upgrades for these units. So it used to not give armor. So now you actually have more armor, and you have option to even get more armor. The other one here, which has also been changed, gives +8 attack for all orc infantry units, which is massive. This is one of the best buffs Greenskins received, other than this rework. So all orc infantry have extra 8 attack. All your early boys, biggins, all your black orcs, savage orcs, all the garrisons. This actually made the garrisons much stronger. On top of armor as well, so they get finally some proper technologies. 8 attack for all orc units, it's huge. It's huge. On the other side, you have some goblin stuff here. 7 armor, missile strength for the goblins and night goblins for infantry units. I think this 7 armor for the goblin units should work on the night goblins, not just on the regular goblins. For some reason, they decided not to give night goblins an armor buff from technology, and I think that's just a mistake. So the night goblins, which have really weak armor, high numbers, these units can take massive damage in an instant. They can lose half the health sometimes, and they forgot about their armor technology tree. This technology should also affect night goblins. They should be all goblins. Really, all the goblins in the game. Any unit that's a goblin in the name should get +7 armor. So this is one of the things that have been kind of forgotten. But other than that, it's pretty good technology. immediately your regular goblins get to 32 armor from 25 to 32, which is noticeable on 160 entities, and later with experience and scrap upgrade they can have 72 armors. So puny goblins for 25 armor to armored and 72, which is just mind-boggling, change for a unit like goblins. On top of that, they do get some physical resist as well. And then you have your Night Goblin unit here, 15 armor. 72, 15. This definitely stinks. So, this technology should definitely affect the Night Goblins for sure. You have a bunch of various technologies buffing stats a little bit on a variety of units. We went to the technology tree on our campaign with Grom. It's actually a lot of good stuff. The changes were basically just for the Orc infantry, so they get more armor, they get more attack, they get speed, and there's actually another thing also, all missile infantry units, so our Orc Armor boys get technology as well. There's a lot of good stuff here. Usually just start maybe 10% campaign mood range. Consider replenishment, not top priority, but unlock those scrap upgrades for your early game goblins, orc boys. Get all the small technologies that buff either if you play with goblins or with orcs. That's pretty much your priority. And after that, you get speed, further buffs for the goblins or the orcs, and replenishment, all the good campaign effects. Just a pretty strong technology. Research pretty fast. Do I think Greenskins are one of the stronger races, middle of the pack, weak? They're definitely not one of the stronger races, but they're pretty good now. Things that I wish they were also better here, technologies regarding the Goblin Spider Riders. All the Goblin buffs should also affect the Spider Riders. They have 7 leadership here, not even 10. They get no attack, they get no damage. I think the Spider Worship should give them armor piercing damage, like maybe like 5-6 armor piercing damage. The 7 leadership, let recruitment cost 10% is just making me cry. So the spiders kinda got forgotten regarding proper technology. Wolf breeding gives 6 armor to Wolf Riders. Wolf Rider is probably one of the worst and most underwhelming units of the Greenskins. Its base stats are so bad that should be ignored. 4,500 health on 80 riders with dreadful stats. This base stats on this unit should be armor piercing on these stats. But multiplayer exists, so I think wolf breeding should give them armor piercing. This technology could connect on all this light cavalry, and should be a combination maybe of armor, armor piercing, even attack. So this is a little bit lacking. Cavalry in general. The boar riding, the pigs, which makes me sad. Boar riding gives armor for the pigs, charge for the pigs, but not for the savage pigs. The armor is not really for the savage ones. Then here you have speed for the pigs, but not for the savage pigs. And you have armor piercing increase for the savage pigs. Why are these technologies not applying to all the pigs? So there's a technology here which buffs armor for the regular pigs, charge bonus for all the pigs and the savage pigs. So these things that like buff only one type of unit in the area, but not all of them. This makes no sense, especially on underwhelming units like the pigs. Don't get me wrong, the savage pigs are pretty good, but the regular pigs are really bad. Multiplayer, right? This technology here gives 8 armor piercing damage to savage or cavalry, which already have pretty good damage, and 10% speed for regular pigs. You're not so sure this is bug, they forgot it, or it's intentional. It's hard to say. This can be intentional, and I'll tell you why. The boar riding buffs armor on the pigs, but charge bonus on all the pigs. While the boar painting, which is related to the savage pigs, it also has a scrap armor for the savage pigs, buffs the armor for the savage, buffs the damage for the savage pigs, but it gives speed to the regular pigs, not the savage pigs. So you get your standard boar riding technology, which buffs armor just for the regular pigs, charge bonus for both the pigs, and then you have boar painting, which is related to the savage pigs, damage to savage pigs, but speed only to the regular pigs. See the issue? These units are already pretty underwhelming due to their really bad base stats due to multiplayer. The worst thing about these units is the building where they are. This should be a tier 2 and this should be a tier 3. These units are not tier 3 and 4. Never. Or they should just be a single tier 3 building. That would could be okay as well. But this unit should really be tier 2. Okay, look at this. This is Orc Boar Boys. 22 attack, 22 defense. On legendary difficulty, when the AI gets massive boost to their defense. This is a big issue with the game, which we talked about many times, but they still haven't done anything about it. The legendary buff to melee defense for the AI has to be removed, and more damage is added instead. These units cannot even hit anything past the charge bonus. They have such a low defense, they get even killed by the most regular Ungor spearmen. This is one of the most depressing things in the game. And Greenskins pretty much as well. Greenskins in the game in general, I mean. This unit should be on tier 2 and it should be tier 3. These units have impressive stats, but it's still 22 attack, 20 defense. And they do not get these heavy clubs, all orc infantry. God fucking forbid, Sigmar forbid that this 8 attack worked for the pigs. Why? Why is this 8 attack not working on the pigs? Why? Have you seen how value those attack values are? It's mind-boggling that this 8 attack buff is not affecting the pigs. It's mind-boggling the pigs have separated technologies which buffs the pigs individually, not both types of pigs. It makes no sense. It's bad for the game because you're gonna ignore this building, this unit, and it's just sad. And the pigs can deliver a good charge when they're fully buffed, but after that they just die. They just simply put too much effort into cavalry in multiplayer and they forgot about our cavalry in single player. You could blame the legend difficulty makes them bad, but you can make most units work in the game on the legend difficulty, even melee ones. There is no reason for the pigs to be this bad, not the reason to have these messed up technologies, not even have proper buffs. So you have your heavy cavalry and your light cavalry fucked. Mainly because of multiplayer, and secondly because somebody sucks at the meta game and doesn't know how to properly build and develop units to actually be fun and make sense. So this is probably the worst part of the new technology tree regarding light cavalry missing armor piercing and the pigs missing proper buffs and a strong buff like the heavy clubs. The fact this doesn't work on the pigs, I'm currently developing a headache. Right now, just thinking about it, I see it coming, it's happening, a headache is coming, so we just better leave it. Other than that, I'm happy with technology tree. You can always just ignore the cavalry and pretend it doesn't exist, and you can have a lot of fun with this new technology tree of the Greenskins. Another thing we're gonna talk is building since it started. Let's go into like a standard capital, like Karakazul, Barakwar. I guess we can go to Membrance. So, the buildings are still some of the worst shit in the game, but at least you can spam them. Lots of oversights, probably not even intentional. Your economy comes from buildings and also from battles. Greenskins have a very strong economy. You might even say they have even stronger economy than dwarves. This is turn 176, and this is a treasury up there. The treasury comes from bells. This is our last turn. 110,000 from boss battle loot, 3,700 from the captives, 3,700 from raiding, 154,000 from the looting. This can be even min-maxed even better, by the way. Even better. Goblin big boss in every army. One death slot doesn't matter. And you can have more armies even rolling faster. You're getting such massive amounts, like we were talking about. You're using your massive treasury to keep maintain you. You're never gonna see big numbers here because you're gonna get a lot of armies, but you're gonna see always huge numbers here. And the fact you can just spam buildings without even putting any thought into it about the expense, it's one of the best thing about the Greenskins. They have surpassed the vampires in the economy by far, and they're even matching the dwarves, if not even surpassing the dwarves. There's a technology which lowers construction cost, and usually you get a trophy for the dwarves, and you just click, snowball out of control. Money-wise, very powerful economy in the Greenskins. Very powerful. Negative is fine. The rule about treasury to income ratio is you can go, for every 50,000 in the treasury, you can go negative 4,000. So if you have 100 in the 100,000 in the treasury, you can go negative 8,000. And you can still keep up easily. With a faction of the Greenskins, probably for 100,000 in the treasury, you can go negative like 10,000. And still will be fine. Okay. So, regarding the economy, get pretty good income on the core. The port somehow make more money than the elves or the Bretonnians, or just they make so much money, man. The Greenskin trade must be disguised trading somewhere. The port building is forgotten. They should be redesigned. It should give post-battle loot, raiding buff, maybe even some other things. This income on the port kill, it's not just makes no sense. It doesn't feel right. It stinks. They should buff raiding income, sacking income, post-battle loot income, similar to the raiding stashes. Having a flat income like this on the port is just lazy, and it looks bad. But they have some of the strongest port in the game for the flat income, which makes no sense. It's just not right. The core economy building is good, 200, 300, 400. So their base income is pretty good. They get tax command for 5% and technology for another 5%, so they all get increased by 10%. Going into the military recruitment, the Greenskin recruitment building is pretty basic. One units, practically nothing else. They added the Black Orc Big Boss, which is one of the best additions to the Greenskins. Quite a potent hero for their playstyle, and it's a lot of fun as well. Very happy about this addition to the game. And this has pretty much been the only change on the Black Orc Barracks, the Greenskin recruitment. So on a tier 3, you unlock a capacity and a recruitment slot for the Black Orc Big Boss, or Bob. You immediately get both on tier 3, and on tier 4, what? Still the same. This is a campaign effect which done by some amateur or just rushed. The proper thing to do this thing would be Black Orc Big Boss unlocked on tier 2. Or if they can want to keep it tier 3, should be fine. And then any tier above should give ranks to the Black Orc Big Boss, like +2, +4, and then capacity above the one which allows the recruitment. So it's kinda, turns the Black Orc Big Boss spam because of this oversight. And you're gonna get this one in every capital, tier 4, tier 5, but no extra ranks for the Black Orc Big Bosses. They also forgot this technology, no hero ranks for recruitment. So this is, a little bit oversights. This was added in the game without in mind, his campaign stuff. So I would like to see Black Orc Big Boss being available in tier 2. Tier 3 giving him 2 ranks capacity, and tier 4 giving him like 6 ranks while keeping 1 capacity. So you can only get in the capital for the extra high rank. Gonna be building this building anyways because of the Black Orcs reduction to the recruit cost, but definitely on our side here regarding you know the standard thing regarding heroes. I think look at here the example here. This is a shaman's hut. Immediately gives you a shaman hero capacity +1 for shamans. There's all these things for the capacity, but you know, for some reason they decided that the more heroes should be spammed everywhere. They did increase the capacity on heroes from 10 to 100 since the Queen of the Crown, without even saying a word about it why they did that, but so we're just taking it for granted. On tier 4 you see here +4 recruit ranks for a shaman. On tier 5 plus still +4, so they added one here. This used to be just 2 tiers, and even they added the Dog Isle, so this could be even higher capacity or higher ranks for the shamans, because you didn't think about it, there are 40 ranks in the game. You start an army late and you get a hero on like rank 6. That just isn't right. No technology, not proper ranks from the buildings, not even some unique skills. The heroes do level faster than before, so I guess that's just alright, but this doesn't look right, having a Black Orc big boss here without, you know, proper you know, mix of stuff that should be on the campaign map effects for him. You got the Forest Beast next, which it makes me cry that this is a tier 2 building. It makes me, it's like, oh my god, it's like I think it's coming, the headache is coming. You know, I'd have to stay far away from cavalry on the Greenskins. Why is this a tier 2 building? Why are the Wolf Riders tier 2? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Tier 3 on these units? What the fuck? Put this to tier 1, put this to tier 2. Once they fix the minor settlements, when they give more slots on the lower tier, might even be, you know, buildable, at least to get maybe some Goblin Wolf Chariot shenanigans. So move this one to tier 1, move this one to tier 2, and keep this one on tier 4. These buildings also, every time you build a Sacred Spider Grounds, we should only build the capital on tier 4, should provide faction-wide bonuses to these units. Make them usable and not a steaming pile of shit. The Arachnoid Spider is amazing, everything below it, especially tier 2, just makes me cry. Moving on another dumpster pile, it's Orc Boars building. We should also be moved from tier 3 to tier 2, or just make one building which is tier 3, but the Orc Boar boys should be tier 2, so tier 2, 1 here. Look at the cost here, 4,000 for this, 10% cheaper, remember. 6,000 for this. What's up with the developers and making the cavalry buildings so fucking overpriced? Why are the Greenskins buildings so priced in the first place? There's a bunch of shit, you know, requires lots of shekels. Orc Boars to tier 2, Boar Paints to tier 3. Tier 3-1 could give some bonuses like recruitment ranks or faction-wide bonuses, stackable. Imagine who's gonna be even building these buildings. The Orc Boar Chariots could be used. Some reason they have 5700 health on tier 4 unit, which is absurd for a Orc Boar Chariot unit. This unit should have way more health, over 6000 at least. But story for another day. The fact this building is like this, I will never ever build it. Never. Will I ever build this on tier 2? Not even for money. This thing should be lowered on a lower tier, and technologies should fix their attack, their buffs, speed, armor, 8 attack for technology we talked about just earlier, and maybe even some faction-wide stuff. This is just depressing. This I don't even know who builds this shit. Squeak cages on tier 3, just pretty decent, not really much to complain about here. There's nothing in this building, nothing. The fact the Greenskins don't have trade, they have a really weird setup on stuff. They're missing a lot of campaign potential on the buildings, and I feel like the devs just lazy and they didn't put anything really fun around it. This could be a variety of things, you know. The easiest thing to do is faction-wide bonuses, local bonuses. It's like, it's not that hard, right? Just, in fact, don't just give plain text here. Don't just give plain text here. Don't just give plain text here. What is this? I mean, this is how you do it. Look at this. There's some shit here. There's some text. Oh, look at this. 1, 2, 3 lines of text. Oh, look, there's text here. Oh, we have some research right here. Oh, 1 line of text. On a research tree that doesn't even need research tree anymore. So some lines of text, something fun, something exciting. You know. Oh shit! I just expanded. Can I get another squeak cages there? Get my squeak stronger in all my armies? No, no, just shit building for recruitment. The system is just brain dead for the AI, and it feels like developers gotten a little lazy with it, and they just don't care to fix it anymore. So the Greenskins regarding no trade, do they have massive money from buildings and from battles? I mean, and the buildings have enough. You know, at least make them stronger in battle, especially the shit units like the light cavalry or the heavy cavalry. The squeaks could also get some buffs as well, faction-wide. If somebody wants to build 10 of these to get their squeaks stronger, let them. If somebody, if this building gives +1 armor piercing and +1 attack, or +1 armor piercing, +1 physical for wolves, and it's stackable, and somebody wants to build 100 of this, let them. It's just still fucking wolf riders. You know, make some fun things, not to make this boring shit. Military support. There is trolls here. Pretty solid building. It got moved to a lower tier. Nothing really to complain about this. This has been a good change. Really nothing to complain about. In fact, the trolls are tier 2. You know, pretty good stuff. There is Tinkerer, which on tier 2 you can get snortling pop wagons if you're into snortling memes and nonsense. These units are expandable, spammable, but they have a horrible battle skill, which is also on ignore list. Their battle skill is only half. They just gave them half a battle skill, the worst battle skill in the game. The AI takes it, it should be removed from the game. It's kind of shocking that the Troll Cave is on tier 2, while the Wolf Den is on tier 2 as well. In what reality they live in that put Wolf Den on tier 2 and not tier 1? You know, there's some really devs in some game, some companies that actually into meta, not just multiplayer meta, but they even understand how the game works. You know, they actually know how to play. Both hard difficulty, and instead of just lose half the battles. And they pay attention. They make they hear input. Shit should make sense, right? Shit should be right. Harbor like this is not right. This does not make any sense. Imagine the time and effort put into all the voices and the lines of the Greenskins, and they half-ass this port. Or this Wolf Den on tier 2. Somebody is definitely slacking, and if they have no idea how to make these things, they should definitely be taking input from people around. If not from me, there's a bunch of other people, so that influencer Discord, whoever is they're yes man, they should just all give them input. They'll all make the game probably 2 times better. The Tinkerer here is pretty much just used to get the lobbers out and the catapults, because the Snarling Pop Wagons, it's a cool unit, but the shit battle skill makes it unusable. The chariots become terrible as the game progresses. They can't do anything to large units. So in not a single reality, you want to take Snarling Wagons over the artillery, which have powerful range, powerful damage, range broke back, and they even have proper battle skills. The Shaman skill, a Shaman building in one more tier has been added, and they basically just added a rogue idol to it. That's pretty much it, not much really. The fact that Shamans are tier 3 with capacity now makes them pretty much spammable. You're never even gonna use them all anymore. It kinda undervalues a lot of healers in the game, like Shaman for example. I don't think there should be a capacity for it on tier 3. It should be there on tier 4. You're gonna get this building in every capital anyways. Most of the capitals anyways. It's a public order building, and it gives you Shaman global criminal capacity. It's a very strong building, for long campaigns. The walls really nothing to much say here. Since we are on topic on the walls now, on the wall building, I should mention that the core building garrison has not been updated since Warhammer 1, and they should really update the garrison in the core building. The core building should have a decent garrison, and this is not a decent garrison. Tier 4 should probably have 1 unit of Black Orcs, while Tier 5 should have a Spider or a Giant on a Tier 5. They don't even have to change the other units, they just should add 1 Black Orc here and 1 Giant here. They're fucking Greenskins, they have numbers, right? Might not even have them proper garrisons without the wall. The walls, you know, kind of bit weird. Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers on Tier 4. Like, what the fuck is up with that? There's another cavalry unit and then 2 trolls. It's the combination of building is so fucking weird that makes you wonder why there's no proper garrison here. So 1 Black Orc here, 1 Giant here on top of that Black Orc, which means 2 more garrison units. And they don't even have to change anything here, but they probably should. They probably should remove this Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers from the walls building and add something else. Probably Biggins. Probably more Biggins. Just remove those 2 Spider Rider Archers and add 2 Biggins instead. The public order building is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Really can't complain about that. Grow building is just, you know, standard grow building. Money building, we already mentioned, is good. And they have a unique building here called the Raiding Stashes, which is a really fun building. It gives you some local bonuses, but what is it important for? It's important for, one sec. Damn, nearly sneezed on my microphone. Nearly. It's important to increase the sacking and post-battle loot. So this is stackable bonuses. So you get 10 of these. Your sacking is plus 20% faction-wide. Your post-battle loot is plus 30%. This is an important economy building. After the industry, this is the most important building for money, and you should try to build it every single settlement. So Zorak here, for example, has a standard garrison building here, and then has industry and raiding stashes. It will make Greenskins make really absurd amounts of money, and then you can reach treasures like this, and just snowball. One thing I would like to see added here, if they really don't add anything to these buildings here, they could add garrison units to these buildings. Each one of these buildings could add garrison unit. I guess it would make sense for the Greenskins. Every faction in the game should have an extra garrison building, not just the boring walls, which most of the time are just overpriced and don't give you enough units, and don't even give you proper units. But there should be additional garrison building, like for example, raiding stashes could give you like a unit of Black Orcs or Trolls, or really Biggins. Just only one here would make a difference. Or they could use military recruitment buildings, or any buildings that have recruitment, like the Shaman here, provide garrison or Shaman. Like a tier 3 buildings here, like the Fighting Pit, like the Gloomy Hollows, or the Boar's Thigh, or the Ski Cage in this case, could all provide 2 units of garrison. This is not really, you know, rocket science. This unit is, allows the recruitment of Orc Boar Boys. There should be 1 Orc Boar Boys unit added to the garrison. This unit allows the recruitment of Night Goblins, Orc Biggins, and Night Goblin Archers. It should add 1 of each of these units to the garrison as well. Give us more options to improve garrisons. Make it a separate building. Just, we need more options for the garrisons. Sometimes, you know, we want to have heavily fortified cities. Make those battles when you have fight 2 or 3 armies at the same time actually doable and more fun, because you have more units, not just this boring garrisons that make no sense. The tier 4 and tier 5 should definitely be buffed. They should be definitely buffed as well. Instead of spiders, there should be probably 2 more Biggins. Raiding station should probably get 1 garrison unit, and maybe even this building should get garrison units. This is about the buildings. It's Greenskins, you know. It feels like a bit lazy, you know, not put much effort into it when you see buildings like the port, when you see the basic urban buildings on questionable tiers, when you see just flat income here, flat stuff here, nothing else. Just feels like just lazy, you know. Some of these buildings don't feel right at all. Even without, you know, adding anything to the game, like everything I just said, they could just, you know, make this, you know, right. Put this one tier lower, this two one tier lower, keep this one tier 4, make it faction wide bonuses, add one unit of garrison here, and wow, holy shit. Regarding units, well, there's really not that much to say. Light cavalry, heavy cavalry, the cavalry just sucks in multiplayer in general, just the multiplayer, because the multiplayer, this campaign is, cavalry is just bad. Cavalry is just bad in campaigns, because, let me tell you, you know, really why. It's not just because of the difficulty. The cavalry unit is a opportunity unit that punishes mistakes. It's a multiplayer unit. It's a fast unit, a responsive unit that just gets there, gets shit done. In a normal environment, works well, but still punishes bad gameplay. If anything to make mistakes, the cavalry will there to punish it. Here, because of this, you have 120 orc boys in a regiment of the orc boys. It's 120. But when you compare this to a unit of pigs, you have 60 pigs. Not 80, not 90, not 75, but 60. 120 orc boys, 60 pigs. How do you exactly punish a unit of orc boys on the battlefield when the pigs are already outnumbered 2 to 1? The orc boys might brace, the pigs might not even get their full health because they get focused. They are really easy to target with range. And the enemy gets massive bonuses. And when the pigs don't even have proper attack value, because they forgot about them on technologies. So you have a tier 3 unit that gets massive charge, but the moment they get in, it's like they just die. The AI, because of their absurd buffs to the experience and the stats, make pigs actually scary, but your pigs are fucking Spanish guy. It's like when you see compare your pigs with the AI pigs, you get this. This every club's 8 attack should buff all the pigs, all orcs. Chariots. Chariots as well, not just pigs, all orcs. This should work on all the pigs, not just, you know, this one work on this pig, this one work on that pig, you know. And the chariot, 28, 26. The charge bonus is not enough. This unit not only is missing health, but I think it should have frenzy as well. And the technologies should be fixed regarding the pigs and the chariots. So regarding the units, it's just pretty much light cavalry and heavy cavalry. It's just multiplayer ruining these units. Not really much can be said here. It's the older units are pretty good in general. Just light cavalry and heavy cavalry that's messed up. The Goblin Big Boss is pretty much a campaign hero. In the battles, can be some use when you have various items to buff him. The items and followers for Greenskins are questionable. The followers are some of the worst in the game. They really need to do a pass on all the followers in the game, especially the Greenskins. Just the followers really don't make no sense anymore. They've just been forgotten. There has to be a whole patch just to go around the followers, pretty much, in traits. So you get a pretty amazing campaign hero, but you get average hero in the battles. The other hero, Bob is just incredible. Just, you know, if you've seen my Grim campaign, you can see them in action. Tanky, strong, amazing in the battles, amazing on the campaign map. Just great addition to the Greenskins. Great addition. Just Can't even say anything bad about him. You have the shamans, the orc shamans, which hold on, let me find one.
Cook, send me to battle. Now's the time.
The tribe's ready.
So the orc shaman skill tree. Just 1 second. Let me open it. There you go. Orc shaman skill tree. You know, they did forget a couple of things. You know, who could be bothered about you know, adding some more skills? If you compare this to like a the River Troll Hag, which is one of the new pay-to-win heroes, and then you open Orc Shaman, you can pretty much take all the skills. They're missing probably 10 skill points, 10 skills really. And compare this to the Black Orc Big Boss. You can see immediately what's missing. 1 or 2 skills on the top, and a unique skill, you know, themed around the Orc Shaman. Other than that, Orc Shaman is an incredible hero, cause it's one of your deadliest damage dealers in your armies. The lores are very strong for the Greenskins, the Big War.
I'm special.
You have the power of the Vow, which should be here, not here. When you cast a spell, you get a power recharge rate. Brain Burst, amazing at exploding units. Overcast for armor piercing explosions. Fist of Gork, buff for magic attacks, attack defense. If you have a lot of power, you're gonna be using it. Headbutt can turn 2 halberdier units next to each other, lose 80% health each. Here we go, AoE attack buff. Foot of Gork can delete entire mosh pits. It's just incredibly powerful. On the other hand, you get the giant River Troll Hag, which is gonna be in most arms because they're replenishment alone. It's somewhat tanky hero, get some okay melee stats with the skills. Even has an arcane item slot for troll, but it has a lot of death magic. Occasional Soul Blight, sometimes Spirit Leech, and a very rare Son of Zerus, unless you wanna basically create your whole strategy on the battlefield around the Son of Zerus. As a wizard, nothing special. You do get power for the shamans, and as a fighter, also nothing special. Sometimes gonna be tanking, doing some damage, but in the army just for the replenishment and the power. A solid addition to the Greenskins, just the Death Lord is fucking underwhelming, makes me cry. So, really nothing to do about that. One of the other really bad things about the Greenskins is their other Shaman, the Night Goblin Shaman. This is rank 40 by the way, look at his old skills. This lord has been butchered by the multiplayer, as you can see, no skills. Poor guy doesn't even get a mount. The poor guy doesn't get a mount. Come on, Dares, please, can you give this little guy a Wolf Rider? Come on. It doesn't have to be an Arachnarok Spider, just give him a fucking Wolf Rider. Is that asking much? So the little guy can keep up with the army. He might outrun the Black Orcs, but when they have the big stuff in the army, the poor guy is in the back, barely catching up. With 19 armor, this health, they find him, they just bully him, just gang him up. Some school bullying. The lore is pretty underwhelming overall, but there is still some useful abilities like the sneaky stabbing in each nuisance. When you're playing this lore, you pretty much just click, 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 and you don't need anything else. Just cast this and pretend nothing else exists, and nothing will be lost. It has the audacity to have Earthin, while the overcast for this lore are absolutely worthless. It just... the Rogue Idol edition has been good. It's a massive unit that just absolutely destroys infantry. One of the deadliest infantry destroyers in the game. But the unit is so fucking slow, you can end some battles before it actually even gets to the enemy. It's a pretty good unit, but it's way too slow to keep up with the army. So you have to adjust your whole army with it, which is not always ideal. You can use it, you cannot use it, it's fine. Same like the giant. The giant can keep up, but the giant get beat up even by the Emperor Knights. So, you know, they forgot to give them armor. The units in general, you know, get some. Now you have the 3 different type of trolls: the river trolls, the regular trolls, and you have the stone trolls. You can try, you know, thinking, you know, the river trolls exist, you know, for a reason. But the stone trolls get so much damage and resistances that no other trolls exist. It's been the biggest power creep on the unit roster of the Greenskins, the stone trolls. I feel like the most underwhelming things is the light cavalry, heavy cavalry, and the snotlings. For sure. Some of their best units are the Black Orcs, the Ragnarok Spiders, Doom Divers, Stone Trolls. Some of the other units can work well, but these are their best units. Regarding their lords, the regular lords, I mean, there's the Orc War Boss, which also been forgotten. Nothing unique here. The Black Orc Big Boss Hero makes the Orc War Boss look really bad. They just changed the skill, which also is present on the Bob. There should be a skill buffing the army or buffing the Orc War Boss to be a more powerful fighter. I think they should add something cool like on the Orc War Boss, where he gets stronger for every victory he has. When he loses the battle, this bonus is reset. Oh, holy shit. You know, already could make him unique like that, but you know, they are boring fuckers, and we don't really get fun stuff like that. Their best lord is the Goblin Great Shaman. He used to be the worst one, now it's the best one. The poison no longer really affects the whole army from the Night Goblin War Boss. So by far the strongest Greenskin Lord is the Goblin Great Shaman. You're gonna get a Sneaky Stabbing, each use and Spammer on a really fast cooldown because the Spider. It gets now Ragnarok Spider, Catch Whip, Spider Shrine. You can get Goblin Flavor armies with the Goblin Tide, or you can just use your usual quality army. For the Greenskins, don't even have to be goblins, just your usual quality Greenskin army. This is by far their strongest lord. Their skills are pretty good. Campaign skills, you can get sacking. They should pretty much all be merged. We already talked about this. This is still the same shit as before. Renown and Fear has been added, so it's pretty good to go more boss for this. Although not really needed for the regular campaigns, you don't even need that much money. Regarding the battle skills, the goblins if you go goblins, the boys if you go orcs, riders if you're gonna be using squeak hoppers or the savage pigs. Other snails should be deleted from the game. It has a half a skill for chariots, the other one is trash. The big lads is your core skill together with either orcs or goblins, and you might even go artillery. I personally recommend you decide for goblins on a Goblin Tide, Goblin Great Shaman, or the boys, even in a Goblin Great Shaman. Then either pick monsters or artillery or both, so one of these 3 skills is the core. And then you get goblins or orcs, monsters, and or artillery or both. Regarding Goblin Great Shaman, you don't even need skills beyond ancient nuisance or Sneaky Stabbing. The spells are cheap to cast, you don't even need Arcane Conduit. The extra power is good for the Shaman, so the Shaman can spam more spells, more explosions. Their other lord is the Night Goblin War Boss, which got in the nerf. He was the strongest before. Now it's a little bit more flavor. If you ignore it, none will be lost. Goblin Great Shamans are just that strong. It has the fermented fungi and the boss loons. The boss loons, the general the fanatic loons could be incredibly devastating when they work in massive infantry formations. This poison is only now for the Lord, which now deals damage over time. It's no longer poison for a whole army, which used to make here the Night Goblin War Boss the best. You could have a bunch of black orcs with poison, for example. This one has become flavor, same as the Orc War Boss. It's this one is probably better than the Orc War Boss, but I still like an Orc War Boss for you know, making an Orc War Boss strong. I like the idea of a strong Orc War Boss, you know, a strong fighter, but the game is not really giving you, you know, tools to really make it fun. So you have to try hard and, you know, get powerful items, high rank, and the traits instead, and make it work. The area that pretty much has to be reworked is the followers and bandits for the Greenskins. It's just delete everything and start the lore again, put it to Warhammer standard. Pretty much do that for every pretty much every faction in the game, especially Greenskins and the Vampire Counts. Orc War Boss has no chance against the Goblin Great Shaman in melee on a spider. The spider will kill the pig or the wyvern. No advantage. No way, no chance. The spider will just eat the pig or the wyvern alive. Wyvern is crap. Oh, what else do we have? We talked about technology, we talked about the buildings, we talked about the units, we talked about the skills. The scrap upgrades, yes. So you get scrap as you upgrade the you do the bells. You generate scrap. There is also one on technology, 10 scrap per turn, and you can use that scrap to upgrade units. There are some unique ones like with the skill. Most of these unique ones are kind of crap, situational, maybe just early game. They're not strong enough to be unique ones. So there's that. You know, they suck at meta game. What can you do? The big ones have weapon strength and armor, for example, for the scrap upgrades. Some of the scrap upgrades are really good, and some that are absolute trash piece of, you know, pile of shit, dumpster set on fire. So the big ones have weapon strength or armor, which makes them very good. Before I get into more about this, I think regarding the scrap, you should be able to click on the garrison details, click on these big ones here, and then it opens this interface. Oh, look at this, we can add an upgrade to the garrison beacons with a scrap. They forgot about this for the garrison units. Garrison units should be allowed to upgrade, get scrap upgrades. That will be huge. You have the scrap, why not? So basically, a lot of these units have either one thing powerful or, you know, a mix. Like if I go damage here, they'll be squishier, but they'll be killing things faster. The 25 armor on 50 base is just massive. You just can't really deny stuff like that. Then you have some really weird stuff like 10 more anti-large on a single entity that has already 4 anti-large or 8 defense. You know, some of these are really questionable for 80 scraps. Some of them are really much more powerful than the others, like 25% reload time reduction instead of 20% range. 20% range might sound a lot, but this is busted really compared to this one. Then you have stuff like Stone Trolls can get 15 leadership or 25% weapon strength. If you use Trolls well, they'll never have issues with leadership. They have to get really hard, by the counters to lose the leadership. This is a 64 leadership unit of Trolls. When they attack, they have over 70. When they're winning, they have over 80, and they're gonna be winning with 203 weapon strength with a VA on. The VA meter on the Greenskins have been added. Is a great addition to make campaigns go smoother. So you basically fill this this VA meter, and you get a call of VA. You click on a faction, and you dedicate the VA either to Mork or Gork. If you mouse over here, it will tell you what kind of buffs you can expect from this faction. If they are top 10, you get the biggest trophy, which then the biggest buffs to Winds of Magic, starting amount, speed, and income from post-battle loot. When you dedicate the VA 3 times to Mork or Gork, next turn you get permanent 10% weapon strength, which makes everything hit harder. Your armies, your garrisons, which is pretty damn good. On top of all the technology, scraps as well. We, for example, right now have the biggest Skellies trophy. We defeat a powerful Lisbon faction, And all our armies, our garrisons receive physical resistance 15%. So a unit of rank 7 Black Orcs have 15 physical resistance and 8% ward save on 102 armor and nearly 11,000 health. All recruited new units get plus 4 ranks, and Lords and Heroes get additional 6 ranks. So some really important stuff. When you mix this combined with the Vi effect on the battlefield, with technologies, the Greenskins become absolute savage on the battlefield. Some of the highest melee damage dealers. The Vi effects between the Legend Lords vary, but this is your usual one. When an army is fighting and building up the Vi inside the battle, so as they are attacking, you can trigger the map-wide effect that all units receive for 18 seconds, more attack, more damage, on top of all the rework technologies, on top of this, on top of extra 10 more leadership. When you add everything to mix, you just get a really fun melee faction on the battlefield. Regarding the call to VA is a little bit weird, because these trophies are lost when you call the VAs further. And when you call a VA, getting the additional units. So, for example, we call a VA on here dedicated to Gork, and now the VA is being called on Lothern. And for 20 turns, armies are gonna be being affected by it, getting VA mobs, starting with some basic stuff up to 20 units. All these armies will be, you know, by some weird design or feature, be losing movement. Replenishment will not be proper. It's just really half-assed. When you see things like this, when you see the AI getting lords, when you see the AI, the Wurzak having a Gringor in a VA, you know, this clearly needs more polishing. It is strong, but it's definitely buggy and extremely situational. Once we finish this VA, our powerful biggest scale trophy will be lost, and we'll be getting this one here, which is not very exciting. Let us choose our trophies. Click here, select the trophies you unlock in the campaign, choose which one you want to be active. Don't let us lose the VA trophy. This prevents us from calling the VAs, because it's pointless. Just keep the quality instead. You have a permanent buff. That 10% extra, you know, it's a little bit overkill after everything that. Fix the VA movement, fix the VA replenishment, fucking polish it. Don't just leave it like the Empire rework 50-50. You know, it has to be polished. If you're gonna add this shit, check if it's polished. 7-8 months later, hopefully this should be fixed, and not like the Empire where it still has game-breaking bugs regarding their rework. If this worked all as intended, this will be more used. If you can actually pick a trophy which you wanna use, this would make Greenskins even more powerful. And it should be a VA like that, because it's, you know, right. You're never ever calling a VA after we reached you know, critical mass. You know, it's fine, but you know, it kind of beats the purpose of calling a VA. It's like the way the system is made with all these bugs, and you can choose a trophy and just have a reset meter, which is not really the biggest loss. It just makes you don't want to do it. And mechanics like that, like kind of, seem like powerful, but up to a certain point, and you don't want to do them anymore, because just they're gonna slow you down, make things inconvenient, and you're gonna lose your powerful bonuses you unlocked before. It's just not good for the game, if you ask me. This thing should be more flexible, more options, and it should work as intended. Not this half-ass. This is some half-ass basement multiplayer intern stuff going on here. Fixes overnight with a bunch of band-aids and bugs. It's becoming a pattern with these reworks that this shit is happening. Some really bad polishing. The Empire still has game-breaking bugs with their rework. Marienburg is part of the Empire and not part of the Empire. And it just makes no sense. So hopefully future reworks in the future, and hopefully they also polish the old ones and not just leave it like this, Because how are you gonna do a call to war? You're gonna dedicate 3 times to Gork, you're gonna get a permanent Gork buff, and you're gonna make sure the third one is the one you want, preferably Lisbon top 10, and you're never gonna call a war again. Because it's just gonna hurt you. You never really wanna do it again. This doesn't ever go away. The new ones just replace the old one, and there is no fucking options. It's just really bad. So this is the big downside of VAR. Having a powerful VAR ability doesn't even matter that much. The regular VAR ability is already good enough. Having the VAR mobs is just really relevant at this point. The best thing to do about VAR mobs after you start rolling is this. And just use your army, so you don't get fucked by the bugs. With the scrubs, like I said, whoever did the scrubs, you know, I don't think he has much experience playing the game, because you have stuff like 45% more ammo, or make them AP damage 5 times higher. How is this ever a choice? How is this ever a choice? I feel like both of these should be available, maybe at a higher cost. The scrap should be more plentiful. It should be on the buildings. These buildings could generate scrap. Other buildings could generate scrap. Like Black Orc Forge, for example, could generate 1 or 2 scrap per turn. They forgot about the scrap, the whole scrap system regarding the buildings. A lot of the resource building for the Greenskins should also be reworked, be a little better. They actually even nerfed them from the before. This is furs, this is pastures, pigs. Same exact building, trash building, faction effects. What the hell? Where the hell are they? These are pastures. Where the hell is the resource buildings? I guess they forgot. So a lot of half-assing and not doing things right regarding the building system. The whole building system requires one big polish. The followers require a big polish, and the VA they implemented with the VA mobs requires polish. I don't think anybody who ever played the game really tested this, and if anybody tests this in a given input to these people, they don't really seem to care to actually improve it or fix it. So they just half-assed it. They give us, you know, the best they could within the time they did it. We might probably not even see any changes to this. So, like I said, fill the meter, gork. Third one, get the best one you want, and just ignore it. Other than that, it's pretty incredible stuff, having a campaign boss on the map, having the VA buffs, the VA boss on campaign on the map, having the VA boss in the army, the VA mobs only if you're desperate, because it's really awkward to have it around. And the scrap upgrades, you know, there's really no options. You're just pretty much gonna always pick the good ones. The unique ones are all crap. And some of the VAR upgrades are just too expensive to be used more immediately, like the Black Orcs. So, for example, Unit of Begins costs 20 to upgrade their scrap, which they have 25 armor, 25 weapon strength, while Unit of the Black Orcs costs 80. You have the Immortals armor, which is scrap, and then you have 10 anti-large, 10 anti-infantry, which, you know, it's an option, definitely 50-50, you know, which one I'm more specialized, but for 80, I mean, come on. Immortals armor, fear, and leadership on a unit which already has some of the highest leadership in the Greenskin roster. So there are really no options on a lot of this stuff. You're just always gonna pick the better one. Some units like the Giant, they have 10 anti-infantry or 25% weapon strength. How is this ever a choice? On a unit that has a 65 base attack and 600 weapon strength. How is this ever a choice? Also 80. I feel like to make this proper, the idea has to be properly optimized stat-wise. Somebody who actually knows and play the game, or make the scarab more plentiful and make a way to actually get both upgrades on the units. And why not? Why not get both Albertson units? Your garrison should be able to upgrade the scrap upgrades as well, and the building should be generating scrap as well. Orcs, you know, they fight, they get stronger. They fight, they get scrap. Why pick only one thing? Why allow only one thing? And why there's a lot of crappy scrap upgrades which they haven't put much thought or effort into. You have some seriously crazy stuff like 15% speed and 15 armor. I mean, look at this unit. This unit's just, where is Idol of Gork for Giant? Forgotten. Instead, oh sure, this unit just hits like a truck. Let's give it a little bit more damage. What about 30 missile resistance? What about 30 armor? So they clearly don't even know the issues of the game with the units. So instead, they just, you know, put some random stuff that makes no sense. I think we talked about everything. You know, my mouth's getting so dry here right now. Probably forgot about something, but overall, you should play the Greenskins. This is their best state ever. The Greenskin work has been great. Of course, there are missed opportunities, there are oversights, some things have been forgotten, and as usual, creative half-assed assembly has delivered us a half-assed update with a rework that might never get patched. But who knows, maybe the next one they put a little bit more effort, and maybe they actually patch the Empire and the Greenskin issues with their reworks. But you could play around these issues, but it's still annoying. We're gonna be doing one Jibber probably every month, maybe every 2 months. But this is the Jibber for the Greenskins. They're a fun faction now, really savage in melee, and really crazy snowball potential. Really crazy snowball potential. Had a lot of fun in this campaign, and we're gonna be playing more Greenskin in the future. I'm gonna go get some drinks, because you know, every time I complain about the Greenskins, I'm getting really thirsty, and the water just doesn't work. I'll be back probably a little bit later. I'll do some Gwent, a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. I don't fall behind, and I'm gonna be playing Solution 6 later. Thank you guys for watching.